I got it. Good evening, friends. This is Pankaj Mandane, Chartered Accountant from Pune. So, good evening, all my friends from India. Today, we are here to talk about new PPF and NSC amendment rules that has been specifically applicable to NRIs. Uh, Before I start this, friends, PPF is something which is very close to Indian people's heart because of its different advantages and all that. So today we'll rush through these different benefits of PPF and how it has got affected to NRIs as of now. So I'll take you through my presentation, and I hope that would be completely useful to all NRIs about it. You can keep on looking towards the presentation and ask the questions at the end of the presentation. We also have live chat option over there, so you can ask questions wherever you feel like about this notification and about different things that we'll discuss in presentation. So I'll share my presentation with you over here. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Pankaj Mandane, Chartered Accountant, practicing in Pune since last 17 years, heading a competent team of Chartered Accountants and Associates. We have offices in Pune, Nasik, and Aurangabad. I write articles regularly in different newspapers like Sakar, Maharashtra Times on subject of property taxation. I delivered a lot of lectures in different forums on finance management and taxations. Also, I've given few interviews on different channels about taxation and career guidance to students. This complete exercise has been brought to you by Vroomble. I'll give you a brief about Vroomble. Vroomble provides services to NRIs and expats with a customized roadmap catering to their specific needs. Members of founding team have made a similar journey from US to India a few years ago. So Vroomble understands how India works, hence they ensure your experience a smooth transition. It's a one-stop solution for career, property, goods movement, legal and finance, investment, and much more. They have expertise. Vroomble connects clients with a panel of experts from different fields of specialization with industry knowledge, wide network, broad experience, and expertise who ensures that each task receives the special attention it requires. It's transparent. Vroomble understands that each client has unique needs, and it provides them with a personalized dashboard which defines the tasks, identifies the time and steps required to complete the task. With this, we'll start our topic today. Friends, as I discussed, PPF, Public Provident Fund, and NSC are one of the top investment options available in India, and it's very close to Indian hearts. As we know, Indians are quite an investment savvy and savings people who are really interested in savings. So PPF is something which comes to their mind in very initial stages. There are a lot of good advantages of PPF and NSC. Best and unmatched interest rates, specifically considering income tax benefits. What are the PPF? Income tax are exempt at the time of investment. Under section 80C, up to 1,50,000 income tax from income will be saved if you invest into PPF. So first E. Second E stands for interest on PPF. Whatever interest we earn on PPF, that is completely tax-free. And third, whenever PPF gets matured, that withdrawal from PPF is also tax-free. Friends, this is considering the whole tax benefit. If you really maximize the tax benefits through PPF, the actual interest rate that goes is close to 13 to 14%. Currently, government gives 7.8% interest on PPF, but considering this tax benefit, that interest rate, actual interest rate goes to 13 to 14%. NSC is slightly different. It is E to E mode, exempt while investing. Again, we'll get a benefit under section 80C while investing up to 1,50,000 rupees, but interest is taxable. Interest on NSC is taxable, and again at the time of withdrawal, NSC is exempt. So NSC happens to ETE mode. Flexibility of investment. The best part of this investment is, even though it's time bound, so PPF is locked for 15 years, but every year you need not to invest a specific amount as such, from 500 to 1,50,000. That's the flexibility you have. So flexibility of amount of investment completely secured by Government of India. So there is no need to question about its security. One of the most secured and best interest rate giving scheme. Bigger locking period is also an advantage at a times, and easy to operate. No more complications to PPF. So that is the reason why the PPF scheme is very close to Indian people's heart. NRIs, as per Income Tax Act, who happens to NRI? We all know. I'll just touch upon it and then rush to the next slides. An individual will be treated as a resident in India in previous year if he or she is in India for at least 182 days in that year, or at least 365 days during 4 years preceding that year, and at least 60 years in that year. I mean, first option is 182 days in 1 year, or 365 days in 4 preceding years, and 60 days in that year. An individual who does not satisfy both the condition and mentioned above will be treated as non-resident in previous year. We all know this. Now, there is the circular which really caused a little pain or little concern in NRI's minds. Circular issued on 3rd October. I'll not go through the complete circular, but the part that has been blocked in a red ink, that is very crucial from NRI's point of view. So this is the circular that has been issued on 3rd October, and what it says that provided that if a resident who opened an account under this scheme, means someone who was Indian resident when he opened this PPF account. I mean, NRIs are not eligible to open new PPF account, but Indian resident can open this account and subsequently becomes a non-resident during the currency of maturity period. Subsequently means after opening the account, while opening the account he was Indian resident, and after the few years he becomes NRI during the currency of maturity period. We know the PPF maturity period is 15 years, and within these 15 years someone became NRI, the account shall be deemed to be closed. It is very important to note, friends, deemed to be closed. I'll explain what it talks about. With effect from the day he becomes NRI, and interest with effect from that date shall be paid at a rate applicable to post office saving account up to the last day of a month preceding the month in which account is actually closed. Upside they talks about deemed to be closed, and at the end they talk about actually closed. What it means, when they says what they really meant is the moment you become NRI, you will not get benefits of PPF interest. So PPF interest benefit is deemed to be close to you from the day you become NRI, right? And from that date, you will start getting the lesser interest rate that is applicable to post office saving accounts. And currently that rate is 4%. So you'll no more get 7.8% interest rate. You will get only 4% interest rate up to the last day of the month preceding the month in which account is actually closed. I mean, you have now two options. If you have become NRI, you have two options. You can close the account and you can withdraw the money. How you can withdraw the money, what you can do with that money, I'll discuss further. Or you can think about continuing with the account. You will get the little lesser rate of 4%, and you can withdraw the amount whenever you feel like, after the maturity period of 15 years or anytime after you become NRI. But after the moment you become NRI, rate of interest would be 4% and not 7.8%. That is the major change that has happened through this circular. So what it talks about, as per new amendment, NRI is not allowed to continue PPF up to maturity. Their account will be closed immediately once their status changes to NRI from resident Indian. Interesting point in this regard is interest payout once you turn out to be NRI. Interest with effect from that date shall be paid at the rate applicable to post office saving rate to the last date of month preceding the month in which it is closed. We already discussed that. Last point also we already discussed. Same thing is with National Savings Certificate, NSC. right? NSC, we know there are two different maturity periods, 5 years and 10 years. Rate of interest is again same, 7.8%. As per new notification, provided it says that provided that if a resident who purchased the certificate and subsequently becomes a non-resident during the currency of maturity period, the certificate shall be encashed or deemed to be encashed on the day he becomes non-resident, and the interest rate shall be paid at the rate applicable to post office saving account from the time to time from such day up to the last day of the month preceding the month in which it has been actually encashed. It typically says the same thing which we discussed about PPF, that the moment you become NRI, your NSC certificate would be deemed to be encashed, and you will no more get 7.8% interest rate. You will get only 4% interest rate till the time you actually encash that national saving certificate. Hence, as per new amendment rule, NRI is no longer allowed to continue NSC till maturity. NSC account will be closed immediately when residential status changes from resident to non-resident account. When I say NSC account will be closed immediately when residential status changes, here they actually want to say is your interest rate benefit is closed immediately from residential status change. You can still continue with that NSC. You can encash it wherever you want till the maturity of it. Only change that will happen is interest rate will be reduced to 4% from 7.8%. So existing rule existing rule before this amendment was NRIs as it is could not open the new PPF account in India. However, they were allowed to keep contributing to their existing PPF account as per 2003 notification. This was for PPF account they opened prior to become NRI. New rule we already discussed. Points to be considered as per new rule in public provident fund is when you become a non-resident Indian, your PPF account would be deemed to be closed. From the date you become NRI, your PPF would not earn the regular interest rate. That currently prevailing rate is 7.8%. That deposit on regular interest rate till you turn NRI. Subsequently, until you actually close the account, your PPF deposit will earn only 4%. That is applicable to post office saving rate. Example, we already discussed that if an Indian person has been contributing to a PPF scheme, his residential status has been changed to NRI in December 17. As per new PPF Act amendment, his PPF account is deemed to be closed on December 17, and it will earn 4% rate of interest on total accumulation until the time you actually close that account. Now, very important, we understood how PPF will really interest rate will change and how the benefits will not be available the moment we become NRI. Actually, the question immediately comes to what do we do with the amount that I already have in PPF account. I opened it when I was in India, when I was resident in India, and I already amount accumulated in PPF account. Now, what do I do with it? So if you really want to close that NR account, this is the process they have given how NRI can close PPF account as of now. In case you are in a foreign country and would like to close PPF account immediately, there are both options. I mean, you can close the account immediately, or you can feel like keeping it continuing and you want to close it on your own whenever you'll come back to India. Both options are open. As I said, if you continue with, you'll get the lesser interest rate. If you immediately close it, your account will be actually closed. So below is the procedure to withdraw the funds from PPF account. You need to complete PPF withdrawal form, that is Form C, and arrange for your KYC documents. Copy of your identity proof, address proof, cancelled check, and etc. Along with these documents, you need to enclose an authorization letter stating that you are you're allowing your person, whomsoever you're authorizing to your relative or friend, to submit the withdrawal forms on your behalf and post all these documents to your representative. Your representative has to visit the bank where your NRI or NRO account is. They have to get all the documents attested by bank official. He or she can get these documents attested by a gazetted officer. After the attestation is done, the representative can visit your bank for PPF withdrawal. So we have to go through this process to close your PPF account. If you're planning to do it on your own, when you'll come back to India, then you can really, you need not to give any authorization to anyone. You really can follow this process, and you can go to your bank directly and close your account. The above latest amendment will surely impact a large number of NRIs who have made investment in PPF and NSC. The amendment indicates that such account may need to be closed and encashed. Once you return to India and become a resident Indian again, you can open a fresh PPF account. As of now, there is no clarity on whether this deemed to be closed account can be revived or not. Now, that is very important, friends. Those of our friends who are gone to outside India for temporary period, so not permanently, gone there for 2, 3, 4 years, and if they come back, say after 2, 3, 4 years and again become resident Indian, now question is whether the same PPF account will be revived or they need to open a fresh PPF account. As of now, what we interpret from it is this account will be deemed to be closed or completely closed, and when you'll come back, you need to open a fresh PPF account. And again, interesting part is after coming back to India, if again it happens that you go back out of India for a few more years and again you become NRI, now how often you can keep on playing, opening an PPF account, then closing it, and then again opening it. So this is something interesting which we need to look into, and which we need to wait if there is any clarification that comes from government, specifically for NRIs who keeps on traveling, whose NRI status keeps on changing. So we need to wait for that clarification from government. Friends, this NRI account, as we discussed, we need to close whenever we feel like after you become NRI, because of that lesser interest rate is applicable to you. Now, what are different options then? Then what do we do with this money? Of course, we have both the options. We can keep it in India or we can repatriate again to your country of residence. We certainly have those options. But if you really think of continuing that investment in India, a few basic investment strategies that we all know is investment in India can be considered in following points: higher the risk, higher the returns; lower the risk, lower the returns. Whether person wants to repatriate amount back in country of residence or want to keep it invested in India. I mean, whether that PPF amount, whatever will withdraw from that account, whether you want to repatriate to your own country or keep it invested in India, and whether you want to return back to India after a few years or want to settle permanently outside India. Your investment strategy will really define by this also, that whether you want to return back to India after a few years or want to settle permanently outside India also. There are few investment options, but I think we need to go through these different strategies and decide really what we want to do. One more thing we really need to look into, if we are planning to invest in India, taxation for that investment at the time of its gains are very important. What kind of taxation that you will come across, what tax you need to pay on that, because that will again impact on your rate of return on your investment. So that also need to look into before making an investment. So that is different topic altogether, but that is one point you need to look into before making investment. What are other different business investment options in India is, I'll discuss few investment options that we have in India. And as I discussed in the beginning, that if we have any questions, we really can use our live chat option and we can discuss those questions if possible at the end of this discussion. Friends, India is a growth story. I mean, you being NRIs and sitting in countries like US, UK, and different European countries, you know it better. I mean, how people in your country are excited in coming to India and making investment to India. So India is in growth story for next few years. There are different business investment options. One typically, which is very so-called interested in different people's mind, is equity. Equity investment, one can directly invest in equity in India through demat account, depository participant. NRI is not allowed to intraday trading or short selling of stocks. You cannot do that. You only can do trading. You cannot do intraday trading and short selling of stocks. You can purchase the shares and after getting deposited in demat account, you can sell it afterwards. Taxation of NRIs and resident India is same. In case of equity, if you sell your equity after a year, after holding it for more than 1 year, it is tax free. And if you sell it before 1 year, if you purchase some equity in India and sell it before 1 year of its investment or purchase, then you need to pay tax at the rate of 15%. So equity is something which is very promising in India as of now. I was reading an article by Morgan Stanley, and Morgan Stanley was saying that within 10 years, in India, Sensex will reach to 1 lakh. Now, though it looks little funny, friends, I still remember Sensex was somewhere close to 10,000 in 2006, 10 or 12 years back. It reached more than three times in next 12 years. By 2017, it is already 33,000 plus. So in next 10 years, whether very little go, we really need to look into. So another another investment option is mutual funds, which is little more secure and which will give you a little consistent returns. NRIs can invest in categories of mutual funds like equity fund, debt fund, balanced fund, liquid fund, and different kind of funds. There are certain restrictions for NRIs residing in US or Canada due to strict FATCA Act, that is Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. And since last 3 to 4 years, US government has become quite strict about it. You need to declare your investments in mutual funds to government over there. And in few of the states, you need to pay tax on that also. So FATCA is something you need to comply with if you're investing in mutual fund in India. But these mutual funds are giving good returns in India in next few years. This is a very good opportunity in share market in India. So consistent returns and its tax benefits. In case of mutual funds, after 3 years, you'll get that tax benefits also, which would be really handsome benefit. Real estate investment, another investment opportunity, real investment or REIT funds, real estate investment trust. Friends, in India, there is a lot of talk about the kind of phase real estate is going through. It's kind of a dull phase, or real estate में इतना movement नहीं हो रहा है, इतना increase नहीं हो रहा है. That is the talk that is going on. So real estate is something which is dull as of now, but my take is little different on that. If you're really interested and if you'll search a bit, if you try to do a little more search a bit, real estate is a really good opportunity as of now, because you will get real estate properties at a very good rate at that point of time. Liquid availability, cash amount availability is very low in Indian market as of now. When I say cash, I mean cash crunch is a lot in real estate as of now. So if you really put in some liquid amount, and if any NRI is interested in putting investment in real estate, this is one of the very good opportunity, and we'll get a very good deals in real estate, and that is already happening in India. Different builders are ready to give very good discounts in their properties because they are in need of funds. They are in huge need of funds. So if someone is interested in real estate, this is a good opportunity to invest. Another option is National Pension Scheme. NRIs can subscribe to this scheme if he has retained his Indian citizenships and plan to retire in India. NPS is cost-effective, government-backed retirement saving plan, which comes under EET tax structure. That is exempt at the time of investment. Its interest is also exempt, but when you withdraw it, it's taxable. So tax structure is EET. One can contribute to NPS from NRI or NRO account, but the pension has to be received in India and cannot be really repatriated. So if someone can invest it only if he plans to come back to India. Friends, there is another good investment scheme that is there in India as of now, that is Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana. And this new circular, it talks only about PPF and NSC. Now, if someone who has just become NRI already invested in Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana, as of now, there is nothing from government that has come about that Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana. As of now, that scheme is still continuing with NRIs, and that is one of the best schemes available for Indians. I mean, the benefits of Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana is even better than PPF. The interest rate is 0.5% more than PPF. It is 8.3% with all the benefits of PPF. It's EEE taxation scheme, where is exempt at the time of investment, that is exempt. At the time of interest, getting interest also, it is exempt. And at the time of maturity also, that Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana amount is exempt. That but you can invest in Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana only if you have a girl child, and before that girl child reaches to 10 years. So that is something we need to keep in mind too. So friend, this is all we have from my side about this PPF and NSC amendment in latest PPF and NSC amendment for NRIs. If you really have any questions, you can send us on this email ID also. We can reply through email also. And if you can really use that live chat option, we can reply to you immediately also. We have got one question now from Amit. If my residential status, we have got a query from Amit. He says that if my residential status had changed in 2015 as an NRI, then what will happen to my PPF account? Amit, as the notification says, the moment you become NRI, your resident PPF account would be deemed to be closed. But since this notification has come from this particular period, October, our interpretation as of now is from this notification date, your account would be deemed to be closed. And after this date, after say October 2017, your interest rate would be coming down to 4%. Now, the very interesting question is, since you said you become NRI in 2015, what will happen to interest rate from 2015 to 2017? Now, that is something yet to be cleared by government. That is something not yet clear about. Our interpretation is, since this notification has come now, they should be giving you the actual interest rate of PPF, that was 7.8%, or whatever rate was applicable at that particular point of time, which actually went up to 8.8% also, 8.6% also. But then we need to really wait for clarification on these parts. There are few complications or few clarities which are not available in this circular, so we need to wait for that. As I said, what will happen to people who are really moving inside country and outside frequently, and their NRI status is continuously changing, and in your case, who has already become NRI few years back. So we need to wait for government clarification on that. So friends, with this I am almost to the end of my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. Still, if you have any further questions, you can post it to our email IDs, and we'll come back to you for sure. Thank you for joining us. Thanks a lot.